Okay, so example 4, we are going to be drawing a tangent graph. It appears in radians. And the lovely thing about this equation is it is in the proper form already because I have this whole entire thing in the numerator. It's all being divided by 2. It fits that form. I'll just go ahead and write that form. It fits the form b times tangent of x minus h over a plus k. Now, b, that's just going to be a 1. Okay, and k, there's nothing after that. So there's some things that we just don't have, which also makes this a little bit easier. But I like when things are in that form because it makes figuring out the rest of this stuff really, really easy. So our scale change rule, ax, comma by, okay, a is 2, so 2x, and b appears to be 1, so that doesn't change our y's. Our translation rule would be x plus h, comma y plus k. So here, if I have a plus pi on the inside in our translation rule, that'll be x minus pi. And there's no k value, so just a y. So that means there's no vertical translation. There is a phase shift to the right pi. Amplitude, that is a trick question. Tangent doesn't have amplitude. The period for tangent, also kind of tricky. Unlike cosine and sine that have a period of 2 pi, tangent starts with a period of pi. Now, still change it in the same way. We're going to take pi times the absolute value of a. So pi times 2 is 2 pi. So we got all of our stuff. That makes then graphing this not so bad. So let's go ahead and turn our page. We're going to graph our parent function in radians. Remember, with tangent, I do require 2 cycles. Got to know where your asymptotes are. Okay, where all the important points will be. Asymptote at negative pi over 2, positive pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 0, 0 is a point, pi 0 is a point, and then it kind of looks like a cubic. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is apply our scale change rule. And our scale change rule was 2x, comma y. So what that means is I'm going to be multiplying all of the x values by 2. What that's going to do is it's going to pull that tangent graph apart. Okay, so negative pi over 2 will now be at negative pi. 0 will stay, pi over 2 will be at pi, pi will be at 2 pi, and 3 pi over 2 will be at 3 pi. Nope, just 3 pi. So, and go the asymptotes. And you can, really make this really wide. Okay. So, then we have to take this graph and apply the translation rule. I'm going to look back and see what that translation rule was. X minus pi. Okay, so that means that we're going to shift everything to the left pi units. So you used to have an asymptote at negative pi, it will be at negative 2 pi. Used to have this point at 0, it will now be a negative pi. Used to have an asymptote at pi, now it's at 0, right on that y-axis. Used to have a point at 2 pi, it's now at pi. And used to have an asymptote at 3 pi, it's now at 2 pi. So, and we graph. And you've got oops, sorry, you've got your final graph.